Hey guys, YouTube 100 here. Alright, now continuing on with these Steven Spielberg movie reviews. Now with a review for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So, yeah, once again, this is a pretty great movie right here. Yeah, I really didn't watch this film too many times growing up. Like, I did see it like a few times whenever it would be on TV, but this wasn't really a film that I watched religiously growing up. Like there were a lot of other Steven Spielberg movies I did watch a lot more growing up than this film. So yeah, this really wasn't one of the ones that I really did watch the most. But yeah, it's still a really, really great film. Yeah. Yeah, I mean this is yeah, this is a sci-fi film, and yeah, this really just show Steven Spielberg really just doesn't just stick to one genre of film. Like he doesn't just specialize with just a specific genre. Like he actually does like does make films that are a bunch of different genres. Like he can do sci-fi films like this, and also suspense thriller films like Jaws. He's done some drama films. He's done some action adventure. So yeah, Steven Spielberg is actually capable of actually doing making the different types of genres. Like he doesn't really just specialize with one. So yeah, that's shows the talent that he is. Yeah, and like I said, this is a really, really great film. Yeah, this is a film that once again I would probably place in Steven Spielberg's top five films of all time. I mean, I would definitely say Jaws is above this one, but I still would think that this is at least the top five of Steven Spielberg's films. Yeah, it really is a great film. Yeah, this film is really just about how there's not really an alien invasion, but it's showing that there are UFOs that are hovering over the Earth, or actually at Earth, like they're on Earth, and they keep hovering over people. And yeah, I really do like what this film really does do with that. They really just keep it kind of like a mystery. How you really don't know what is actually flying these UFOs, and it's not really identify really what the aliens really do look like. Like we don't actually really see the aliens that are flying these UFOs until the very end of the film. So I do like how they really do keep it a mystery on what type of aliens these are. Alright, so yeah, yeah, and the film does star Richard Dreyfuss once again, as well as Terry Garr, and Melinda Dillon, Francis Truffaut. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and Bob Balaban. Yeah, and they're all pretty good in the movie. Yeah, I really do think that they all do really good performances in this film. Yeah, yeah. I also I kind of think of this film as sort of like a Steven Spielberg's answer to Star Wars, because yeah, this film was released in 1977, the same year that the first Star Wars movie was released. Used in seeing how it's still the same genre as Star Wars, I just kind of feel that this was just a Steven Spielberg's answer to the first Star Wars film. Though yeah, it's really not the same premise at all. Like it really does have a totally different premise than what Star Wars did. But yeah, I just have always kind of seen this film as that in a sense. Yeah, yeah, but I really do like the film. Like I said, I really do like how they really do keep it like a mystery. How it just shows the UFOs really just continuing to just hover over Earth, or actually fly high over Earth in a sense. And yeah, it's really a total mystery as to what is actually going on. So yeah, I really do like that about the film. And yeah, it's shown that apparently there was people that actually did disappear here here, and yeah, it's like eventually revealed that these UFOs are actually did what make the people disappear, and yeah, it's also like is showing that like they actually have abducted people, people over time. So yeah, it is like kind of a very interesting premise. Like it is like a little bit complicated, but yeah, it is like told like very very well once again, just like Jaws was. So yeah, it is like a very a kind of a complex story, but yeah, it really is like told like really really well. And once again, this film really just does have a phenomenal score from John Williams. Once again, like really did like love like the I don't really know if I want to really say an overture, but yeah, really really great score like when it shows like the UFOs like flying off and stuff. Yeah, I really just have really love that score. Or yeah, and like I said, some really good performances from like Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Garr, and all the other cast members in this. Yeah, and, and but yeah, I just really do like. While it really isn't a film that I really did grow up with. And yeah, I didn't really watch the film very much. Like I said, it really was. Yeah, I still did like it whenever I did watch it. So yeah, it's just like not like a film that I really do watch religiously, but when I do watch it, I do love it. So yeah, it is like a really great film once again. I would probably give this film a 3.75 stars out of 4. Or so yeah. So yeah, a pretty great film overall. Yeah, one of like Steven Spielberg's best works once again. All right, so yeah, it really is like sort of a complex story. So yeah, there's not really too much that I can really like get into it. But yeah, I will just say that while the story is like kind of complex, it is like told like really really well, and some really good performances and a great score. So yeah, and of course like a great direction from Steven Spielberg. And yeah, people do kind of like refer to this film as like really Steven Spielberg's masterpiece that started it all. Even though like Jaws did come before this film, but yeah, I don't know, like maybe like Jaws, like at the time of its release, wasn't like didn't like really receive like as big of the following that it does today. So I don't know, maybe people just recognize this film as like Steven Spielberg's first like really really famous film when it was first released. So yeah, all right, so yeah, okay, so let me just get right into the premise of the film. So the film opens up in a Sonoran desert, and it shows that Claude Lacombe, who's a French scientist who's like also a speaker at the Monsteru conference, and it's along with his American interpreter, or David Laughlin, and some other governmental scientific researchers. They ended up discovering what's known as a Flight 19, which is a squadron of crewmen and Avengers that actually ended up like disappearing 30 years ago in the Bermuda Triangle, and it showed that like the planes are all intact and stuff, but there's no like sign of any of the pilots, and then there's an old man that actually like did claim that the sun came out at night and sang to him. And yeah, and then at an air traffic control center in Indianapolis, like there are like the controllers that are like trying to direct like two airline flights, and one of the controllers was actually played by Carl Weathers, who's known for like his playing Apollo Creed in the Rocky movie. So yeah, interesting to see Carl Weathers here. Yeah. But then, and yeah, it's then like just shown that like the two flights ended up like narrowly avoiding a mid-air collision with a UFO, and they were asked if they actually did wish to report the UFO, but both of them chose not to report it. Heard it, yep. And then it then cut to Muncie, Indiana, where it shows like this 3-year-old boy, a Barry Giller, or like was woken up after like his toys were starting to like just operate on their own. He had like one of those toy monkeys with the symbols, and his other toys like that were just like operating like on their own. And then like he got out of bed and then like saw like it showed that like in the kitchen, like there was like a mess in the kitchen after like the refrigerator opened, and then it showed that he ended up like seeing like something or someone. Like it didn't actually like show it on screen like what he did actually see, but it showed that he was like really fascinated with it. And then yeah, he ended up like running outside, and it woke up his mother Jillian, and yeah, when she like saw him running off outside, she then like gave chase to him outside. Yeah, and then like throughout the town, then like for what was going on. Of course, this was like a like aliens like flying towards Earth and approaching Earth. Yeah, but yeah, this ended up like causing like a really huge scale of a power outages throughout the entire town, and so then an electrical lineman, a Roy Neary, who's played by Richard Dreyfuss, this then was sent after, well, was sent out to try to investigate it, and then like after like he lost power in his truck and his radio and stuff, then like showed that there was like this orange light that was flashing down on him, and then showed that there was a the UFO was like really coming to a close encounter with him after it like flew over his truck, and then it ended up like burning the side of his face with the bright lights, and it, like to show like the impact of the burn, like part of his face was red from the burn. And, yeah, and then it like seemed to just like end up flying off, and then after he regained power in his truck, then he gave chase to try to give a chase with the UFO, and then like Jillian eventually ended up like catching Barry, and yeah, yeah, then like showed that Roy was like approaching Barry and Jillian, and he almost hit them, but they were able to get out of the way in time. And it then like showed that uh, Barry, Jillian, along with some other bystanders, ended up like encountering the UFO as well as three other ones that joined in with it, and so then Roy joined like three police cars and trying to chase after the UFOs, but eventually they ended up just like flying off into the sky. Oh yeah, and then yeah, Roy just like was like extremely fascinated with the UFOs, and he was trying to like share his fascination with his wife about it, but yeah, she just like had a lot of dismay for it, and apparently like there was like a subliminal image that was in Roy's mind of a mountain like shape, and like he just like was like trying like whenever like he had like that image in his mind, he would like um make some models of it. Like he's like used like shaving cream to like kind of like make a shape of the mountain shape. Yeah, he like made like a model of that, and then yeah, he just like was like very fascinated with it, and whenever he like got into a position where he could like make models of the shape, he would like he would like. There was one point in the film where it was like he was sitting down to dinner with his family. He like made a model of it out of mashed potatoes, and yeah, it was just like throughout like there were like a few different points where he would just like make a different models of the mountain like shape in his mind. Yeah. Yeah, and it showed that Julian was also very fascinated with the um, shape as well, and she was obsessed with it, and she was like trying to make sketches of it as well. And then, meanwhile, it showed that Lacombe and Laughlin, with like some of the United Nations experts, were like trying to investigate the UFO activity, you get along with some like strange occurrences that were happening at the time. And then eventually, uh, um, there were like some scientists that were like broadcasting like sequence in space, and then they ended up like receiving a string of like six different beats that were just repeated, he did like dun 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 dun. Like they just like received that transmission and they were like trying to really get it down. Yeah, and then apparently Barry had also recognized it too, and it showed that later on, like he was like reconstructing that tune on a xylophone. Oh, and then that night, then at Julian and Barry's home, it showed them that UFOs then like just descended down from the clouds and were just like terrorizing Jillian. And just the presence of the energy field was like making all the appliances in the house malfunction. And then eventually Barry ended up being abducted by the beings that weren't actually known or seen. I mean, but it just showed that Barry like went underneath a doggy door, and he just ended up like being pulled out, and then just being abducted away. Yeah, we didn't actually see him being abducted off, but yeah, it just showed that when they were like pulled, like Jillian was trying to pull Barry back in, but yeah, she got overpowered, and then when she went outside, like Barry was gone and nothing was there. Yeah. And then eventually, then uh, Laughlin then like recognized that tune as some geographical coordinates actually pointed to the, the Devil's Tower in Wyoming, and so then Lacombe and the U.S. military then converged on Wyoming, and then the U.S. Navy Army like evacuated the entire area and planted just false reports that a train wreck spilled toxic nerve gas and as they were like trying to prepare their secret landing zone for the UFO. Yeah, and then it just showed like meanwhile like Roy was just like starting to act very erratic after like all the that of the image of the mountain shape, and he was just like becoming like very nuts and erratic. Like he was, it just showed that he was just filling the house with like plants and dirt and stuff, and he was like pulling up fences, and yeah, he was just acting very insane into his wife and kids. And so then his wife Ronnie then just like ended up taking the kids and just left him. And then eventually then Roy like inadvertently then like saw television news about what was going on at Devil's Tower, and then he recognized like the mental image of the mountain was actually real, still at Devil's Towers, and yeah, Julian also saw it, and so then and Julian, Roy, and like others that also did have like the similar visions then traveled to the site, despite like the warnings of the nerve gas. And then yeah, as like a lot of the people that were drawn to the site ended up being apprehended by the army, and also like were being questioned by like Lacombe and Laughlin. Like Roy and Julian were able to make it to the landing zone on that night, and then it just like showed like all the UFOs just appearing in the sky. And then the all the specialists at the site were like trying to communicate with the UFOs with with the sound, the dun, 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 and the lights through the use of like an electrical billboard, which was controlled by a multiple manual synthesizer. And so then eventually the UFOs then just ended up leaving, and then the enormous mothership then ended up landing down at the site. And then as the specialists were still like trying to communicate, then the mothership was using its own lights and sound to also answer to the dun 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 dun, and yeah, they were just like showing like the tonal vocabulary from the aliens and just having like different sounds and tunes to answer it. Right? And then eventually, then all the pilots from Flight 19 and everyone else that had really been abducted by the ship were all freed, which included Barry, and nobody had like, aged since their abductions. Yeah, and then once the aliens then finally did emerge from the mothership, and it was then revealed how they looked. They really just looked like really small, sort of like ageless people. Yeah, they just looked really small and ageless. They kind of looked Barry's size. Yeah, and then like the government decided to allow Roy to be included in people that could be selected to be visitors to the mothership. Yep, and then as the aliens then ended up like selecting Roy to join them on their travels, and then after Roy then ended the mothership, it then showed like one alien just pausing and looking at the humans, and Macombi like used the Kerwin hand signs that actually did correspond to the five note old, phrase, and the alien like replied with the same gesture, and then yeah, the alien just smiled and returned back to the ship, and then the ship then just slowly ascended back up into space, and it just like showed everybody just watching it take off, and Barry just said bye, and then yeah, then as the credits then rolled, it just like showed the ship just continuing to slowly ascend back into space. So yeah, so that's how it ended. So yeah, like I said, a pretty great film. I would give, like I said, a 3.75 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, yeah, a very like a complex sort of story, which is why I really didn't like really go into as much depth in it and just tried to stick to the main premise of it, since like this is a shorter review. But yeah, it really does tell this story like really well, and just a very good mystery. Good at like keeping the aliens' appearance a mystery, and yeah, telling the story like really well, and yeah, very good like a sci-fi tone to it, and some good performances, and yeah, just a very good direction, really great direction for Steven Spielberg. So yeah, if you haven't seen it before, which I'm sure just about all you have, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is like really worth a watch. It is like just a masterpiece, really. All right, so yeah, I guess this is all I can really say about it. So yeah, so this does it for my review of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and yeah, stay tuned for more Steven Spielberg reviews coming up. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.